Hey, yo, what's up, y'all? What's happening? This is Lions Avenue as we Victory Tuesday, day after Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. It's your boy Ashanti, V for the win, with Walt Stringer, my right hand man, my partner in crime. A lot to talk about tonight, man. I listen. First of all, NFC North champions. Detroit
The
Lions.
champ,
Walt, first time since 1993, bro.
93.
I was 18 years old, man. You know what I'm saying? You see these gray hairs I got now. I'm 48, bro. That was 30 years ago. I mean, it's crazy how
I was
it took
10.
it, it took it took
Oh, like I was 10.
10 years old. You was a young lad at the time, 10 years old. Yeah, man, it's crazy, Walt. Listen, the emotions go crazy when you actually think about it, when you watch the game. As a fan, before we get into the X's and O's and this and that, I mean, I just want to start show off. It's something to be commended. Okay. I mean, we still got a couple games left in this season, a huge game with Dallas coming up on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? It's still a lot to play for. But like with Dan Campbell, you seen the celebration, the locker room, and I think it's authentic. I don't think it was nothing phony about it. He pretty much was just like, listen, enjoy this, but hey, we still got bigger fish to fry down the road, which I like that. You know what I'm saying? I like that. It's okay to wear a t-shirt. It's okay to, pour some champagne or do some dance. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're not saying we won the Super Bowl, but it's been a long time, man. You know what I'm saying? We haven't won it since it was the North. You know what I'm saying? Well, the last time we won it, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was in our division. That's how long it's been. You know what I'm saying? So to
Last time
do
we
it in the
won it, it was the Central.
yeah, right. NFC
Yeah.
Central with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Um, and then Chris Spielman even said as much, we wanted. I think he did say they wanted with a couple games to go. I was gonna say it wasn't like the last week of the season. Walt, we clinched it. We did. We got 2 games to spare. This game totally came down to, a defense is going to have to make a play, and I think it's going to be the same narrative in the playoff. I think, this game was telling to me because I don't look at how we won or we barely won or Kirk Cousins wasn't playing. That was the reason why we did win. I did hear that from some people. Listen, Minnesota Vikings, Lions, they know each other. You know what I'm saying? Just like the other teams know each other. Green Bay and Minnesota, I think, play each other coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Chicago's in the mix. They play the Packers. They play the Vikings coming up. So this division is they call it the black and blue division for a reason. I mean, every game, it always seems like Minnesota, Detroit comes down to the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Some a couple play. Look at the last 5 games we played against the Minnesota. They've all been nail biters. They've all came down to the last play of the game, the last person who had the ball last. Um, listen, this game was totally decided by Nick Mullins making some errant throws. But look at our defense. I'm not saying that they're like this great defense, but it's opportunistic. Like you said in a pre-show, I think you're right. You were spot on when you said, you get right with a quarterback like Nick Mullins because we struggle with turnovers. We struggle getting interception, taking the ball away, getting to the quarterback. And I think we did all of those things on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was like the most deciding factor of us winning the game. I mean, because let's be honest, it came down to a guy, and if Fatu Melifonwu, a guy who's been much maligned here the last 3 seasons. He can't stay healthy, but listen, Melifonwu has been excellent, man. The last 2 or 3 games, I don't think it's a flash in the pan. I think that he's played well every time he's been in it. Even the games last year, the year before that, Melifonwu mostly was playing exclusively at cornerback. I remember next to Warrior. So
Yep.
he had some experience like covering premier cornerbacks, which I like. So he knows like a little bit how to. I remember he did a damn good job against Devontae Adams in a couple games. One of the best receivers in the league. So it's not like Melifonwu was just some type of gimmick that they're doing, and they're just riding the wave. I think that Dan Campbell said as much. They know his ability, but he seized the opportunity, man. He basically took Tracy Walker's job. I mean that's how it's looking like to me. I think they're gonna continue.
Yeah, I think Tracy's done.
Yeah, I think I think they're gonna
You can
continue.
only have so many safeties, man.
Right. Well, so let me ask you this. I'll let you take it away, Walt. I mean, your thoughts. Tell me what you was feeling. When the fourth quarter, and this thing, could go either way. Tell me your thoughts. The final drive. Just your thoughts on the game as a whole. I mean, I know you watched some tape. You know what I'm saying, because you're saying that you didn't watch it from the beginning, but you did watch the game. So just give me your both sides of the ball, golf, offense. Tell me what you liked on defense, and then we can hit it and get going. We can start this thing tonight.
Yeah. I think first and foremost, a lot of Lions fans made a big deal about still the defense. Right now it's a point in time when AG can do no right. Even when the defense makes plays, it's still something that he didn't do and this and that. Let's be honest about it, man. We've seen Justin Jefferson around this town for what, 4 years now?
Woo.
Yeah, Justin's a beast. And let's be honest about it. Mullins wasn't nothing. The running game for them was nothing. Nobody else receiving wise was anything. Hawkinson got hurt. If it wasn't for 6 catches for 141 from Justin Jefferson, there would have been no offense from Minnesota. So I think for Lions fans that feel like they got to still kill AG, yeah, but Justin Jefferson had 6 for 141. Don't act new. Mm-hmm. Justin Jefferson was doing that against the old regime too. Mm-hmm. And if you want to see Justin Jefferson get 6 catches for 12 yards or 3 catches for 8 yards or whatnot, something crazy, go out and draft a shutdown corner. Or go out and sign a shutdown corner in free agency. Stop throwing all of these brown paper bag corners out there on this guy and expecting miracles. Newsflash for Lions fans, Justin Jefferson is one of the best wide receivers in football. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when you have a G like that out there, because that's what he is, stuff happens. And if you don't have a corner that can match up with his elite talent, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
I think sometimes fans just want these magical coverages to just raise up and just want to shut down the guy. Like, that doesn't happen. How many opponents over the years, over the 9 years that Calvin Johnson was here, said the same thing? How many fan bases said the same thing when they played us? Damn, why can't we stop that Calvin Johnson guy? Mm-hmm. You can't stop him because Calvin was special.
Yeah.
Period. Look at Tyreek Hill. 5'10". And been terrorizing the NFL for how long now? Mm-hmm. So, would it be nice to take Justin Jefferson and hold him to 3 catches for 8 yards? Yeah, that'll be nice. That'll be cute, but that's not realistic. Yeah, so, I said, outside of Justin Jefferson, that's right, man. Justin Jefferson's a G, man. We all know that. But, I mean, listen, outside of him, he is the offense. We said that prior to the season. If you look at the Minnesota Vikings offense, can Kirk Cousins put up numbers? Of course, Kirk can put up numbers. But who was the best player on their team? It was Justin Jefferson. It wasn't even close. You can argue Hunter or whatever, Griffin, those guys over the past couple of years as edge rushers, but Justin Jefferson is the best player on that team. Now, if you look at how we did it, I think it's nothing different outside of what we normally need our recipe to be in order to win. You look at it for what it is. We had a total of 28 first downs, 16 were passing, 9 were rushing. We had a total net yardage of 389. And you look at it for what it is, 36 rushes. 36 rushes for 143. Yeah. We held Minnesota to 17 net yards on the ground.
Yeah.
On 11 carries. They averaged 1.5 yards per carry. Nick Mullins, of course, threw 4 picks. They had him out there doing way more than he needed to do. You talking about Minnesota being sacked 4 times, lost to 38 yards. And then, like I said, we were able to rush the ball as much as we needed to do. The
Yeah.
recipe never changed, man, for us.
Right.
We've been saying this all season. If we can dominate, if you allow Detroit to dominate the line of scrimmage and run the ball at will as much as we want to, it's going to be a problem. And
Yep.
we're going to get into Dallas later on in the show. We're going to get into Dallas in a couple more days as far as what we feel like this team needs to do in order to handle Dallas. But it's
Yeah.
obvious, man. If we can shut down the run the way we've been shutting down the run all season, and it was weird too, because like Minnesota didn't even try. Minnesota was in the game for a minute. And to have 11 carries for just 17 yards is ridiculous for any NFL team in this day and age. And you start in a third string quarterback and you allow him to go out there. Now, all of those picks wasn't Mullins' fault. It was a couple of tips or whatnot, but
Yeah.
you allow Nick Mullins to go out there and throw 4 picks. That's Minnesota. That's coaching right there. There's no way in any NFL game in this day and age you're starting a third string quarterback. Even if you're not starting a third string quarterback, you could be starting your starter. 11 carries, 11 total carries in the NFL game is crazy, man. And then your backup quarterback, your third string quarterback throws 4 picks.
Yeah.
So now but I'm just saying this: we have no control over what Minnesota does or how goofy Minnesota's play calling may be offensively or defensively. We went out there and we handled our business, and we were able to get right against Minnesota as far as getting the turnovers. A game like we had against Minnesota, because we've been complaining all season about the lack of sacks, the lack of opportunistic plays on the back end. A game like we had against Minnesota could springboard this team on a playoff run where they can make some plays, because we don't need the defense to be number 3 in the league and yards given up and be this and that. We just need this team to get some timely plays, up the sacks a little bit, get some timely turnovers, because come playoff time, it's all about possessions.
Yeah.
You want to create as many extra offensive possessions for your offense. You want to limit the amount of possessions for the defense. So, like I said, man, we went out there, we handled Minnesota the way we needed to. They threw 4 picks. We were able to generate 4 sacks. And we shut down the run game, and we were able to shut down the pass game. And like I said, if it wasn't for Justin Jefferson, there would have been no offense from Minnesota.
Yeah, and you're right. You know what I'm saying? And I think going into like moving forward, now we know, okay, we won the division. Like one of the the listeners just say, yeah, the Dallas game is important. You know what I'm saying? Because I think the number 2 seed is a possibility now. You know what I'm saying? It's a damn good possibility. It's better than 50-50 in my opinion. Especially if we win this game. I think if we can get into that later, but like I said, to me, I just think that we've unlocked 2 things that's going to keep us going, Walt. I think that, like you hit the nail on the head. It's no magical solution right now for the defense. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're gonna have to obviously we're riding it out with what we have, right? So, which Chauncey Gardner's coming back. Looks like James Houston's coming back from Dan Campbell. I think Chauncey might play this week.
Don't forget the free agent safety we signed 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's honestly like we at the midway point of the season, we picked up an extra safety in Afiatu Melifonwu.
Yeah. Yep. And it's good to see, and have yeah, what's up, Ado? Yeah, he right too. It was almost like it was like you said, it was a dumb game. Like Twan just said that's a dumb game plan. Like you said, if you go out, or was it more so lack of respect for AG? I think, you know what I'm saying? I think that was more so a lack of respect to come out and say, you know what? I don't see the Lions. They don't have a hell of a secondary like that. We're going to throw the rock. You know what I'm saying? What? Maybe
That's extremely arrogant then.
Yeah. I mean, they probably
With
felt
Nick Mullins?
yeah, they probably feel like, hey, they don't have no shutdown corners in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Cam Sutton, for whatever, for as good as Cam Sutton has been, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call him a shutdown corner. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I think, and in a playoff, we're going to see he going to get challenged in the playoff. You know what I'm saying? In the playoffs, he going to get challenged. And I think the one thing the Lions got going for him is the offense. I think the offense can be a problem, you know what I'm saying, in the playoffs, because for every possession, remember, it's good. It's about possessions, just what you said. It's about possessions, man. Because if you get 3 instead of 7, chances are you're gonna lose, right? But if you could score, put pressure on the other team, man, to score every time you get the ball, or at least the threat of you scoring. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs gives us that threat. Well, I just love the way Jahmyr Gibbs has instituted into being a problem for other teams, because you have to account for 26 now. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't think, like Dave Montgomery. I think he has. I don't think he's slowed, because I was talking to somebody and they were saying, "Well, David Montgomery slowed down." He's not, dude. David Montgomery's doing what he did with Chicago. Okay, David Montgomery, look him up, look the stats up. Damn near identical, all 4 years in Chicago. Okay, over 900 yards. I think he had a thousand one year, and the other 3 years it was 900, just over nine. He's got 11 touchdowns already. He's fine. I think that Ben Johnson is trying to get Jahmyr Gibbs more touches, and I think it's gonna be hell to pay in the playoffs, man. I think that the good thing that they've done with this offense, if they've unlocked Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think at the beginning, remember, we were trying to figure out, is he like not a bust? Is he, we shouldn't have took him at 12, which was ridiculous, to even question Brad Holmes for doing that. Obviously, I'm not talking about the players that we passed on. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, now that we got him, he damn sure was worth the 12th pick overall in my, and that's just me talking. You know what I'm saying? I think it's gonna pay dividends moving forward. You know what I'm saying? I did like other people stepped up, guys on defense that you hadn't, because remember, Derek Barnes didn't play, so I was kind of shaking, like, man, who the heck gonna step up? Jack Campbell, who's been steady. I mean, he didn't hear his name much on Sunday. I didn't really see him. Like, I seen him gang tackle a couple times, but maybe I didn't focus on Jack Campbell too much, because I was looking more so the secondary, because I was worried about Justin Jefferson coming in this game. And lo and behold, he damn near, had 200 yards receiving. So, I like I said, well, I think that, the first step, winning this division, I think that it was huge for this team, man, because we had to, show that what we're doing is going in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Now, we know our team is flawed. We know that. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it is what it is right now. But I think right now, the first step, listen, remember Dan Campbell was 1-6, Walt, went 8-2, 11-4. He's 19-6. We was talking about it since they started 1-6 last year. He's been 19-6, man. I think that's huge. I don't care who you playing against. You can say a soft schedule, whatever you want to say. I think Dan Campbell is the absolutely stirs the drink on this team. Players love him. I think that it goes a long way. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, yeah, the players got to go out there and play. But I do think ask the Raiders, like we were talking about. Just ask the Raiders ask the Chargers how much a coach matters, you know what I'm saying, for that roster, for the players they have on that team. So for us to have like less talent in some of those teams, I think that it evens out, because listen, just like we talk about the going to work Pistons, right? Like that they built their mantra on that. I think grit, the biting in the kneecaps and all that stuff that we heard at the beginning. I think, hey, it's the calling card, man, right now for this team, man. They're all buying in. Quick stats I want to say, while we was talking about Jared Goff, right? Jared Goff, 7.4 yards per completion, right? That's more than Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Geno Smith, and Russell Wilson. You know what I'm saying? Just to put it out there. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, I think the 7-8 yard passes is frustrating as hell when you got guys that can beat their man. You know what I'm saying? But I do think the whole Jameson Williams thing is kind of going by the wayside now, because now I think that he kind of looking for JMO. It's weird how 6 weeks ago, it was a different story. I even said that J-Mo couldn't play. You know what I'm saying? He had me fooled.
We was calling for Antoine Green, man.
Yeah, man, hell yeah. I was saying, remember that? I was like, yeah, Antoine Green. But yeah, J-Mo, I love it. I just want to see more. And you can see he's starting to get his swag. He's starting to know, hey, I could beat my man, that type of thing. I think all of that's going to be huge in the playoffs because teams don't really have that much tape on J-Mo. They just know he's fast. You know what I'm saying? So now, what are you going to do? You're going to pick your point. Okay, you're going to send a man deep with J-Mo, or you're going to send him over the middle. You can't care. Okay, you got to account for Gibbs now. You know what I'm saying? You got to account for Laporta. You know, St. Brown's going to find a soft spot in the defense. So, Lions, hey, Jared Goff got a lot of buttons, man, to push. He just got to push the right ones, in my opinion, you know, for us to do something, you know, moving forward. So, this next game with Minnesota is it all. I mean, I don't know how much of a factor that the last game is going to be. I think it all depends on this Sunday. I'm this Saturday. I think if we win that game against the Cowboys, I don't know for us. I don't know if we lose the game. I think the 3 seed is we pretty much locked in at number 3. You know what I'm saying? I think if we win, 2 seeds in play, and then dare I say, if the 49ers lose, one of the next 2, the Lions could pass them up if they win the last 2. You know what I'm saying? And then get the first number 1 seed. So it's still a lot to play for out there. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely will go all out and try to win this guy, try to bury the Cowboys. I mean, you want to not even, you don't know what tiebreaker is going to come up at during the playoff. What if it's you and the Cowboys and it might decide, who's going to play each other in a playoff game at home or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a lot to play for.
I definitely think they playing to win. Just knowing off of how, like I said, we talked about it in the pre-show about how this team, the approach that they took heading into week 18 at Green Bay last year. They went into that game at 8:00 knowing that Seattle had beaten the Rams with a little bit of help from the refs. And they knew that the playoffs was over with. And they still went into Green Bay with the mindset to beat them and knock them out, which is what they did. So this team ain't done. I never took this as a team that would win the division, close the division out, and then just be happy with that. I think this team is still hungry. They seen exactly what happened to Dallas the last couple weeks. They saw what Buffalo did to them. They saw what Miami did to them. Granted, both of those games were on the road.
Yeah.
And Dallas is a much different team at home. But if we want to be real about it, man, Dallas is more explosive. I think they're more explosive offensively as far as quick strike. They're more explosive defensively because they can generate points. But Detroit's better. And that's not me being Detroit Lion biased. If you look at over, 15, 16 games now? 15 games now. Detroit has displayed the ability to win in a wider variety of ways than Dallas. Dallas kind of reminds me of Buffalo over the past 3 years, where Dallas is either kicking your ass, blowing you out, or they lose in a close game, or somebody kicking their ass and blowing them out. If you're talking about different ways to win games, that's us. We can win a shootout. We can win 20-6.
Yeah.
We can win 17-14. We can run the ball down your throats. We don't have to build everything offensively off of the pass in our quarterback. The thing with Dallas is if Dallas jump on us early, it could be a problem. But I was telling somebody earlier, and I honestly believe when it comes to Dallas Saturday, Dallas is either going to blow us out or they're going to lose a close game. I don't think it's any in between with Dallas. And the only reason I think Dallas has a possibility of blowing us out is because they're so different at home. But if we can withstand those waves from Dallas, because Dallas comes at you in waves, and they're very opportunistic defensively. If we can sustain some of those waves, we should be okay. If we muck the game up a little bit, if we can enforce our will on Dallas, is over with.
Yeah.
I saw what Buffalo did to them.
Yeah.
And Buffalo, that's not even Buffalo style of football. That's what kind of made me look at Dallas a little sideways week before last, was that we've been crying for Buffalo to be more physical over the last 2 years. And y'all allowed Buffalo, I don't care if it was on the road or at home, I don't care about rain. I don't care about none of that, because at the end of the day, what you think you're gonna only play indoors? Y'all only an indoors football team? I hate when people talk about, well, this team is really good, but if the weather's bad, I don't know. Well, you're not really that damn good. If you can't play football, if your brand of football is only good indoors, 70 degrees on turf, how good are you really?
Yeah.
We know how good Detroit is because we seen Detroit go on the road in the cold and beat some teams. We seen Detroit beat some teams in bad weather. So that's why I say, if you compare Detroit and Dallas, yeah, you know, when Dallas wins their games, when Dallas wins, they look very, very explosive. But when they lose, they look bad. We see teams push Dallas around. Outside of that Philadelphia loss they had a few weeks ago, and I can't really even, I don't even know how to look at that Dallas loss. I mean, that Philadelphia Eagle loss from a few weeks ago when they played at Philly, because first of all, that's a divisional game. Second, the Eagles and Cowboys always play each other tough like that. They always do.
Yeah, division game. Yeah,
but to say one more thing, I think about, you were bringing up Detroit and how different this team is now. There's a possibility it would be even better if we get the #1 seed. If we got the #1 seed, we have that one extra week to get everybody healthy. Either way, I think come wild card, even if we don't get the #1 seed, come wild card weekend, we'll be playing. And I think there's a really good chance everybody will be there. James Houston will be back. Chauncey Gardner could play this week. I wouldn't play him this week, honestly. If anything, I would hold him out against maybe Dallas. Not Dallas, but maybe week 18 against Minnesota. Just to get his feet wet. Get him back out there running around playing some football. If James Houston is ready to go, I would try to get James Houston some snaps. I'm trying to get Minnesota out the way as quick as possible. If we beat Dallas and we looking at a situation where we head into week 18 here against Minnesota, we need to win. What is it? The Eagles finish up with the Giants, and San Francisco finishes up with
the Rams.
Yeah, and the Rams gonna be playing for something. That's no gimme for San Francisco either. So yeah, I think if we take care of business against Dallas, which is very possible.
Yep.
Because I don't think there's any chance Minnesota beats us week 18 here. I don't think there's any way that happens. Now, granted, it can, because on any given Sunday, anybody can lose. But considering what what Dan Campbell has displayed over the past 2 years, as far as having his finger on the pulse of this team, there's no way he's gonna let this team get full of themselves at all.
Yeah,
and like I said, we could shock some people. This is one reason why I think we could possibly be contenders in the NFCs, because what defense teams saw from us through 18 weeks of the season isn't what they're going to see against us in the playoffs. Yeah. You're talking about bringing back Chauncey Gardner. You're talking about bringing back James Houston. And if you look at that secondary, just in particular, having Ifeatu Melifonwu back there on the back end that can play some cover one, can play a lot of cover three. Him coming out of Syracuse, that was one thing that was brought up about him in the scouting report, that he may be better off playing safety. While he has the size at 6'2.5", 212 pounds, which is what he was coming out of Syracuse, he ran the sub 4.4. He had the vertical that was nearly 40 inches. What he lacked in being an outside boundary corner was that initial quickness, that short area quickness.
Yeah, he got that makeup.
He can match up against bigger receivers. He can also match up against tight ends at that size and that athletic ability. Having him back there on the back end that can do that enables guys like Brian Branch and people. I saw someone early on social media asking, well, once Chauncey Gardner comes back, what are we going to do with this guy and that guy? You know what I said? Once Chauncey comes back, having Kirby back there on the back end with Melifonwu enables us to take Brian Branch and Chauncey Gardner and pretty much make them built-in nickels and jokers. Now you got guys playing inside the box that can defend the run. They can blitz more with those guys, because Chauncey can do that. And you got two guys that can also cover slots. So like I said, the defense that teams saw from us during the regular season, they're not going to see that shit come playoff time. What you think you know about us, you don't know about it.
Yeah,
This defense is going to be completely different come playoff time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you hit that on. Man, you broke that down big time, Walt. And I agree with you because when you get even a guy like Bruce Irvin, right? I think Bruce Irvin is a guy like he could be a veteran guy, played in some big games. I think he's going to be a factor. I really do. And like I said, if you can get Pascal to really step up, man, you got to should think about it. You got two sure tacklers on the outs. I'm trying to picture this, Walt. Picture Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell, where you know them two guys gonna play outside. You know these two guys can tackle. They can seal the edge off. I mean, they're not great cover guys, but they can damn sure chase somebody down from the edges. So that's gonna be a problem. It's like the defensive line should really be able to benefit. So now I say this. With a pass, that's why I bring up Bruce Irvin because James Houston, you know, Aiden Hutchinson, it's all a red carpet laid out for him to have a big playoff because if this defense is going to be different, you got to believe that the pressure is going to come. You got to believe that the way we've been disguising, bringing pressure. AG has shown that he can do that. Dial up and think about it. AG's been already playing with not a full deck anyway for like 2 years. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like him so much because I think that he doesn't have hella talent like that. You know what I'm saying? He don't have that dominant nose tackle that you can, work around. He doesn't have bookend pass rushers that he can hang his hat on. So now he's got to mix it up. He got to disguise some things. Melifonwu is perfect for what AG's trying to do. You could see it. You know what I'm saying? They're risking it. I mean, I think that AG this last game with Nick Mullins, I think, they brought a lot of different pressure. They threw the kitchen sink at him because it was Nick Mullins. I think that was part of it too. But hey, it is what it is. It ain't our fault that Kirk Cousins wasn't in there. You know what I'm saying? I heard somebody say that too. Well, if Kirk Cousins would have played, y'all wouldn't have beat us. Like it's just like that. That has nothing to do with it, bro. I mean, we've been missing our whole squad damn near all season. You know what I'm saying? So I forget that. I mean, they would have beat him with Kirk Cousins. That's the way I look at it because we're a better team. That's how I look at it. So like coming into the Cowboys, I just want to just piggyback on what you said about the Cowboys. I do think the Lions are a better team. I think the Cowboys may have a better defense. Yeah, they got a lot of names. They got a lot of Michael Parsons. Probably the best. He ain't probably he's the best better than anybody we got on our defense. But they don't put fear in me. I think the Cowboys are good. I really do. I mean, they're one of the top 7 teams in the NFC. Obviously, they're in the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs, so they are good. But I've seen it all. For me, it always comes back to the quarterback, and then I look at Dak Prescott, man, and it's like I've seen him play. I seen him. I remember they beat Tom Brady, if I'm not mistaken, a couple years ago. It was a Thursday, that Thursday night first game of the season in Tampa. I think he put up 41 on Tampa. That was probably the best game I ever seen him play. You know what I'm saying? He's had some other good one like this earlier this year. I think they beat the Eagles, right? I mean, he had a good game. What I'm saying is, I can count on one hand how many times he's really made an impact. I mean, him and Jared Goff damn near in the same boat, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? At least Goff has made it to a Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not a Dak Prescott hater or nothing like that, but what I'm saying is he don't to me, it's not like he could take the game over. Like, I don't see him doing it. I not against us. I don't know. I could be wrong. He needs a tight end just like Jared Goff does. He needs, and I think our running game's better. I think our offensive line's better. I think they're better on defense. That's the only advantage I think I would give the Cowboys against us. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting. Deron Bland, it was on a record pace. He slowed down. I hope Jared Goff don't get baited and trying to you know what I'm saying, since he's been quiet the last 3 or 4 weeks,
Take
Deron
this,
Bland, and
Bland.
yeah, yep, and then he get picked off. You know what I mean? I can see that happening. You know what I'm saying? Big time. But it's gonna be a hell of a game. It's gonna be a fun game. I think the Lions can go out there and play loose because let's be honest, the Cowboys lose, dude. They'd be what 10-5 or what 10-6 if they lose, and then that's gonna knock them a peg down. So I think they really need this game, man. I think we're gonna see their best game, and I think the Lions it's good medicine for them to play a game like this on the road. Dan Campbell, like you said, his pulse on his team, man, is like, listen, we celebrate, but we still ain't done nothing yet. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the number 2 seed. And I think that's the correct mentality that I have. I mean, the rest players and to be scared that somebody's gonna get hurt. That ain't how you win, man. You know what I'm saying? I think you keep your foot on the gas and you beat the Cowboys and you not just like we went in there and beat Green Bay. That last game is you go and beat Dallas and just play spoiler and knock them down a peg. You're not gonna knock them out of the playoffs because I think they're gonna make it regardless, but you just don't make it easy for them. You know what I'm saying? And I think any team that plays the Lions, they say like, hey, it ain't gonna be no easy game. If our offensive line wall is intact, them boys 6-0, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all, and the numbers don't lie. You know, Ragnow, Decker, Sewell, Jonah Jackson, Graham Glasgow, them guys brought 6-0, man. You know what I'm saying? Look at our offensive line. Look at Gibbs. Gibbs looks so comfortable, dude. Gibbs back there like a new shiny. We know. Well, I was gonna say I don't drive an electric car, but I would say he back there like a brand new Tesla, man. I wouldn't drive.
I don't drive an electric car.
Hell no, I wouldn't drive a Tesla.
Man.
Couldn't pay me to drive one. But what I'm saying is he back there like a new shiny toy. Like people like, oh, I didn't know he was that good. Oh, I didn't know that Gibbs had speed like that. Oh, I didn't know he can cut back. Oh, I didn't know that he can catch the ball. Yeah. He can do all those things. You know what I'm saying? When all those things is in most, dude, he'll be a bear to handle, man. You know what I'm saying? So Walt, let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. Like, what's your expectation? Like, let's just say end of this season. I mean, do you expect I heard this question was asked on the radio, so I'll ask you, like, is it a failure if this is as far as we go? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, like we get to the playoffs, we get that home playoff game. Yeah, and we don't win. I mean, do you think that's a choke job, or is it like,
I don't, because I think some people have built in views and opinions on this team before things even happen. Because we have no idea how they're gonna win in the first. Well, let's just say it is, whether it's a wild card weekend or they start their playoff run after wild card weekend with a bye. You have to wait and see what happens. We don't know what's going to happen. Golf could have if they lose, it could be because Golf had a terrible game. It could be because Dan Campbell may have had a terrible game managing wise. The defense could have been bad. It could have been bad calls from the referees. You never know. Come playoff time, we all know. We remember that Dallas game, almost 10 years ago. So for me, I would have to wait and see how things unfold ultimately. But this is a team that won the division for the first time in 30 years, man. I was 10 years old when that happened, man. Dude, I was still in middle school. Or was that elementary school? No, that was elementary school.
Elementary school, you 10 minutes unless you got double.
Yeah. So no, I don't view it as a failure, at least not right now. We would have to wait and see exactly how things unfold. But one thing I have noticed about the defense that people keeps trashing, you're not going to one-dimensionally beat this defense. As bad as it's been at spurts during this season, I noticed something else about this defense. Whenever a team gets a 100-yard receiver, whether it's Adam Thielen, who had over 100 against us, Olave had over 100 against us, Keenan Allen had over 100 against us, of course, Justin Jefferson torched us. None of those teams beat us.
Yeah.
Which makes me look at Dallas with CeeDee Lamb. Do I expect CD to kill us? I expect CD to try to torch us. But I'm not too much concerned about it because there's a good they can't run the football. They're not
Right.
running the ball against it. Let's get that out of the picture right now.
Mhm.
That's not what Dallas wants to do.
Mhm.
That should be part of Dallas' identity ultimately, but that's not what Dallas wants to do. So they're going to try to expose us with Lamb, maybe Gallup a little bit here and there, a couple tight ends. But now we have a guy in Melifonwu, and we don't even know if Chauncey may play this weekend, may not. But you have a guy in Melifonwu, and he's different. He's like one of those old school safeties. You don't see safeties his size anymore that can move the way he moves. He's different out there. They may, if he continues this pace that he's at, we may see teams start to go back to bigger safeties.
Yeah.
So having him out there, having a guy like him that can match up with a guy like Jake Ferguson, who he's bigger than. Well, I'm not sure if he's quite bigger than Jake Ferguson, but he's more athletic than Ferguson. Or even Shoemaker from Michigan or whatever. We have somebody now in Melifonwu who we can put out there and match up with guys like that. We can blitz them. There's a lot of different things we can do now. So I'm not as worried about Dallas because I know what Dallas wants to do offensively. Dallas ain't gonna go out there and try to punch us in the face. That's our game plan. We intend to go into Dallas and do to Dallas what Buffalo probably did to them.
Yeah.
That's part of our plan. That's part of our identity and our DNA. We want to control the line of scrimmage. We want to run the ball as much as possible. And if you allow us to run the ball right down your throats, this offense will do it. If Dallas ain't careful, they'll see Montgomery 20 carries. They'll see Gibbs 16 carries. They'll see Gibbs get 90 yards. They'll see Montgomery get 127. That's if Dallas can't handle that. So do I feel better about this matchup against Dallas now? Yeah, I do. Than I did a couple weeks ago, yeah. Because if you look at how we performed against Chicago and on Thanksgiving against Green Bay, and even the New Orleans Saints game, that had team, a lot of people around here kind of down on the team also because we got out to a 21-point lead and then damn near gave it away. Luckily, famous Jameis walked in the game and saved our ass. So
Right.
because there was a chance if Derek Carr would have stayed in the game, we may have lost that game. But once Jameis came in, I kind of wiped all the sweat off my brow. But we blew Denver out. That was probably our best performance of the season. But this team looks battle tested and they look ready. We know what the offense is. As long as the offensive line is intact, they're going to go out there and going to do what they're going to do. I bet you this, you will never see 11 carries from us the way you saw 11 carries from Minnesota. Whether this at Dallas is back here against Minnesota or if it's in a wild card round or a second round, the divisional round. As long as Gibbs and Montgomery are both healthy, you will never see those two dudes with a combined 11 carries. You'll never see that at all. So we know exactly what we are. And like I said, man, I'm interested to see how important this game is to Dan Campbell and who he decides to go out there and throw out there. Because like I said, this game is huge. This has been our measuring stick game all year. You and I talked about this before the season even started. Week 17 at Dallas. Week 17 at Dallas. We've been talking about this.
Yeah.
So it's here now. Dallas on the 2-game losing streak. They laid an egg at Buffalo. Cowboy fans blame the refs and blame the weather. Then they messed around, went to Miami, and couldn't handle the Dolphins either. Remember, Miami went into that game. Miami and Dallas both went into that game this past weekend with the same moniker hanging over their heads. Y'all just beat up on bad teams. Y'all can't beat anybody good. Can't beat anybody over 500. Now, I can't say Miami got right against Dallas when it came to that, but they did it. Dallas is a good football team. They beat them 22-20.
Yeah.
But like I said, it doesn't look. It's not a good look for Dallas, considering how this season unfolded. Beat the Giants twice. Granted, they beat Philadelphia. They always seem to play Philadelphia pretty well, though. But even the win over Philadelphia a few weeks ago, it felt more like damn near their Super Bowl. it felt like Dallas had more to prove in that game than Philly did. And I think Dallas took that game more seriously than Philadelphia did because Dallas needed to get that monkey off their shoulder. Frisco beat them earlier in the season pretty bad, which seems like years ago now. Philly did beat them in the last seconds a few weeks ago. And I think they needed that win more than Philadelphia did. So did I think really Philadelphia was that bad beyond Dallas? No, because we all already know, like throughout the regular season, there's ebbs and flows.
Right.
But we're gonna find out about all these teams in another couple weeks.
Yeah. Yep. And I do think, you know, it comes out to being the Lions just had they're in it, man. I mean, I think that the only thing the narrative have changed is like, are they a good team? Remember, we posed the question like, are Lions contenders? I mean, we think we asked the question maybe a month ago, and I was on the fringe of saying they are contender. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe they're like one of the bottom feeder teams that's like, I say bottom feeder. I don't think they're 6th or 7th best team in this conference. I think that they're either 1, 2, or 3. You know what I'm saying? I mean, not 1, but maybe 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? And I think that for that, if you say that, then you're gonna say this team's a contender. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that the one thing I like about it, like you say, you mentioned in the past, you this team could go on the road and play in the cold. We have an offensive line. We got a running game. You know what I'm saying? I think that travels. So you always hear defense travels. Well, I think the offensive line travels. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that you can always, you know, get into those 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 situations, and hey, 9 times out of 10, the Lions gonna get it, man. You know what I'm saying? They've been great at that. Even Jamal Williams to a point last year. When it's 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, the Lions get it. They run the ball and they get it. You know what I'm saying? So when they don't do those things, when they try to get too cute, when they try to, you know, drop back, like you said at the pre-show, and I think you're right, you know, having Jared Goff throw the ball 40 times, that's not what you want to, that's not a formula to win to me. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know the bad things can happen in a row. You know what I'm saying? Once the floodgates open, you know, one interception could turn to 2, you know, a fumble turns to another. You know what I'm saying? So it seems like we was in that cycle for a little while, and now it seems like things are settled down again. You know what I'm saying? And I think mostly because I think that everybody they know their assignment. You know what I'm saying? Offensive line's kind of back healthy again. You know, let's knock on wood. Hopefully these last 2 games and beyond that we can keep it together. And I think right now, man, the Lions are a team that it could be reckoned with. You know what I'm saying? Put them in a hat, Wall. I mean, like I said, even we see, you know, a team like Buffalo, a team we was just saying like maybe that ship has sailed with that team, but right now they look damn good, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is about Buffalo. I mean, that makes them. I mean, I don't think that they do anything really great, but I think that they're good. You know what I'm saying? Just sort of like the Lions. I could see Buffalo and the Lions playing in Super Bowl. That would be crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? 2 teams that we kind of was like, well, maybe neither one of them was kind of that good to be there, but they might. You know what I'm saying? That's a possibility too. So
yeah, I mean, there's no juggernaut. Well, aside from the Ravens, and I think there's still a lot of people
they're
out there.
Juggernaut. Yeah,
a lot of people out there still skeptical about Baltimore. Because I saw someone bring it up on TV earlier about Lamar Jackson's playoff failures and this and that. So there's a lot of people who are still skeptical about Baltimore too. The Chiefs, they're 9-6, but we've been talking about the Chiefs like they're terrible. That's just how high the bar has been set for the Chiefs. But yeah, they've been playing like squat the last few weeks, or whatever. If they get in, they're still in danger of losing the division. Now, granted, they would have to lose both of their final 2 games, and the Raiders would have to win both of their final 2 games. That would be crazy. If the Raiders, that would be the craziest turnaround, mid-season turnaround in NFL history. If they fired Josh McDaniels and turned around and made the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Miami, we don't trust Miami. Let's be honest about it. We don't really trust Miami, mainly because we don't trust Tua. We don't trust that style of offense come playoff time. But who knows? The Dolphins could get the #1 seed and may not have to go on the road.
Yeah. Miami, see,
Cleveland,
yeah, Cleveland too. Yes, yeah, and I
elite
picked Cleveland
defense.
to win division under the pretense
Yeah,
that
you
Deshaun
did.
Watson was going to play. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, their defense is just like Baltimore, they're like a different level. You know what I'm saying? And they beat Baltimore early this year. But like you said, well, I don't think that no, I think Baltimore is the best team in the league. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't convinced. I thought it was the 49ers. Hey, give Baltimore credit, man. They went in there and just like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like they just did. Lamar Jackson just looks like a different guy, man. I seen without his shoulder pads. I'm like, but dude been working out. Like you
Man,
can't. He
it's an
ain't a frail.
attitude.
Right, he got that confidence anyway. Right now, even when he beat the Lions, remember he was just like, "Shit, it's another game to
You know
me."
what though?
I
It ain't
don't,
just him.
you know.
It's that Raven organization, man. I think they sit back and they watch, and I think that's the level we want our Lions to get to as an organization. The Ravens sit back and watch. I think they sit back and watched us before they played us. Like, y'all see this, man? These MFs ain't playing nobody. Let's go show them how we do it.
Yeah,
They did the same thing to Seattle. They made Seattle. Now, granted, they crushed us. They crushed Frisco. They crushed Seattle. They made Geno and Seattle look like some hurt puppies. That's what. Well, outside of the Cincinnati game, I thought Geno and Seattle looked bad against Cincinnati too. But that ain't the only tough competition. Seattle lost to Frisco twice. They lost to the Rams twice. But the Ravens, I think the Ravens went into that game against Frisco last night, saying, "Man, we tired of hearing this."
Yeah.
I think the best teams, the top teams, feel that way. They get sick and tired of hearing about these other teams. Let's go show them what we can do. Let's go show them what we made of. Baltimore went into Frisco last night with the intentions to do that to Frisco.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like, man, they even pulled Brock Purdy out of the game. Like, dude, let's get him out of here. Don't ruin his confidence at all, because that was a confidence shaker. You know what I'm saying? And I think now, having seen that game, I mean, obviously, I'm not judging it on one game saying San Fran sucks now, because that's not the case. But at this time of year, you raise your eyebrows a little bit. You know what I'm saying? When you see that, you're like, man, okay. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some things that, the Lions can maybe capitalize on. You know what I'm saying? I seen that Baltimore, what worked for them. I mean, and I believe the Lions got better personnel than the Ravens on offense. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I want to ask you this real quick. Frisco, of course, they lost to Minnesota, but 3 teams from the North beat them. Cleveland beat them, Cincinnati beat them, and now Baltimore beat them. And they all 3 of them beat them in different ways.
Yeah.
All of them beat them in different ways. So do you view Frisco any differently now? Because to me, it's odd that they beat Pittsburgh week 1. But Cincinnati went to San Francisco, and I made a post about that on social media earlier today. What I've noticed about that, now, how we view Minnesota is how we view Minnesota. But Minnesota, if they can't do anything else, or if they won't do anything, because Brian Flores is going to blitz. That's one thing that was proven. If you blitz Purdy enough, you can cause some chaos. In his losses, in Frisco's losses, I don't even know how many. I know he threw 4 picks against Baltimore, but he threw multiple picks in all those other losses too. So, like I said, Cincinnati went to San Francisco with an elite offense with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow was
lit
healthy,
them up.
Yeah.
Lit them up. They lost at Cleveland. Now, granted, Cleveland was starting PJ Walker, I believe, but Cleveland has one of the best defenses in football. Elite defense, beat them. Baltimore, elite defense, elite quarterback, beat them. So I think it's obvious that if you can do something elite, now what do we do that's elite? Elite offensive line, elite rushing game. Now, we won't know if we can handle Frisco at all, but I think if you do, it's been proven that if you bring something elite to the table, you can't be basic against Frisco. I think that's one key thing. Atlanta stands no chance. Seattle stands no chance. But if you can do something elite against Frisco and take them out of their comfort zone, they can be got. I think that's been proven by 3 different NFC or AFC North teams now.
Well, the only thing I could say is with the 49ers is like what the biggest way to like negate a pass rush, which they got 2 good pass rushers right now, is to be able to run the ball at the middle, right? But they got Greenlaw, what's the man, Fred Warner.
DeForest
They got
Buckner.
Buckner.
My bad.
What's
DeForest Buckner with the
yeah,
Indianapolis Colts.
he with the
I was
Colts,
at
yeah.
Armstead.
Oh, yeah, Eric Armstead. What's the other guy? Folks, I can't think his name. We're number 45 for the 49ers. But anyway, them guys, it's hard to run on them because them 3 guys they got at linebacker make the difference. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
When they over pursue, like most pass rushers do sometimes when they get ran on, that's the only problem. So what am I saying? I'm saying is if that happens, the game gonna come down to getting the ball to the outside. You know what I'm saying? And Jameson Williams will be a factor. It'd have to be St. Brown. It'd have to be Sam Laporta. It had to be those guys, man. That's going to be able to, get those linebackers off the line of scrimmage. It'll be a good chess game, and I think it might be this way. I think we'll see a little bit of that against the Cowboys this week. Well, you know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be a situation where we're going to have to. It's going to be a chess game. Like you said, if McCarthy, if they say, okay, Dan Quinn, they say, you know what, we're not going to let him run the ball. We're not letting Gibbs we're going to bracket him in. We're going to make Goff make some plays. You know what I'm saying? And it could come down to, our offense got to go 90 yards to win the game. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. I can see that happening too. You know what I mean? And we know, Goff has been successful in the 2-minute drill, and in those situations, against Kansas City, first game of the season, they did it a couple games last year. You know what I'm saying? Where we had to have it. You know what I'm saying? We got a touchdown. In the Seattle game, we went back and forth. For every time, he made a mistake, threw a pick 6, then the next drive, he come right back down and score. So I think that if we play desperate enough, I think that we could, cause some good things can happen. You know what I'm saying? When you put pressure on a team to score, right? And like you said, Brock Purdy, that's the one guy I think that, like you said, you mentioned Brian Flores. I think that Aaron Glenn, I don't think they're scared of Brock Purdy, man, like that. I really don't. I think that those guys can dial it up enough where they can, like you said, make them uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Make them just slide to the left or slide to the right a couple times, you know what I mean? Or knock him down, put a hand in his face. All those little things matter because when the fourth quarter comes, you can get them. You know what I'm saying? You can get them to bait them into throwing a pass, an errant pass or something like that. So, yeah, just like we did against Minnesota, you know, this whole thing, this whole show, this whole, reaction to this game, the Lions winning the division one, I think it was huge, like I said, because and to me, I thought it was that we take care of business as soon as possible, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it go to week 18 and then you gotta, struggle just to win the division. So I do give them credit with that. They did take care of business and they did it, a couple weeks early, which was good. So I think now that's in the rearview mirror. You know what I mean? That's another thing too. And that Dan Campbell was smart. He said that it's good to win. 24 hours later, let's wrap it up. Let's put it in review mirror because now all that does winning just breeds more winning. You know what I'm saying? And it makes you more hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Especially for a young football team.
For a young team, right?
Yeah.
So if they say, "Man,
they never been here before."
Never been here before. So now they don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? Josh Pascal don't know any better. Jameer Gibbs been a winner his whole career. You know what I'm saying? Them guys, they play for top colleges. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so they
not even just them. Like some of the rotational guys, like the guys who aren't big names, big name players like Kaminsky. This is huge for him. He ain't never been there before. Isaiah Buggs was in Pittsburgh though. So I mean, I think he knew a little bit about it, but as far as being a key component on a playoff team though, like Buggs never played this role before. Kaminsky never played this role before. So Yeah, I mean, this is huge, man. And I think this Dallas game is going to prove a lot
Yep.
as far as what direction this team is moving into, as far as exercising some of those demons. Remember, we done lost 5 straight to Dallas,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
haven't won at Dallas since 2011. So, what better time than to exercise those demons than now, man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I cannot uh and then how about the NFL, man? Like it just seemed like now the Lions people want to watch the Lions game. You know what I'm saying? Good ratings. It almost like it's the perfect storm for the Lions, man. The perfect time for everything to click for this team. You know what I'm saying? Because it used to be laughed at, it used to be like, you know what I'm saying? It used to be easy W, things like that. Now, prime time game. You know what I'm saying? It's everything that you would want. I think Dan Campbell has like erased all that negativity. Regardless of what happens the rest of the way, I don't think that right now, nationally, I don't think that people think that they a joke. You know what I'm saying? Even Taylor Decker said that. Taylor Decker said it's finally, we're to the point to where, we are a legit franchise, again, you know what I'm saying? At least like not a doormat, not like, they still got to make it. The only team that hasn't made it to a Super Bowl, so that's another thing that you wish they
Yeah.
could get to the Super Bowl and then man just start have a fresh slate after that. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like, and then some caller put it best on 97.1. I was listening to it on the way home, and he said he's almost treating this like the Lions is a new team, like what I'm saying is like new ownership, which is Sheila Hemp. You know what I'm saying? New GM Brad Holmes been here 3 years, and then Campbell. It's almost like he said, it's been a 3-year plan. They, you know, started from the ground up. Got
Yeah.
rid of all of that old Patricia Quinn, all those bad draft picks, Jamie Collins, got rid of all those contracts that was terrible and just started from, and now this is the result, a team that's on the cusp of, being a contender. And like I said, this year, I don't think it's far fetched, man. I don't think it's far fetched to say, you know what, this team could win a couple games in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Super Bowl. I made that mistake and I jinxed them when I said it. So I ain't gonna say that. I said that before Baltimore game and they lost by 30. So I ain't gonna say that. But I just think that, I was thinking about the Rams and I'm like, man, it'll be just fitting. It'll be just our luck to play Stafford when he's red hot. But I'm not worried about the. It's like I think we could beat the Rams. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, Aaron Donald is Aaron Donald, Hall of Famer. I'm not worried about the Rams like that. I think that the Lions at home would beat the Rams. I think they take care of them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's interesting. It's a lot of to be determined too. I mean, it's not like we could be anywhere from the first seed to the third seed. You know what I'm saying? And it's big, man. Because if you get the 2 seed, you can play 2 home games, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to one. If you get the 1 seed, everybody knows that's home field throughout. But I like that the spot where we're able to say, you know what, let's go and get that second seed, you know what I'm saying, and really just show like we here to stay. We tough, you know what I'm saying? We just not happy, content with just being a division champions. We really do, have our minds set on doing something this year, not in the future, because like we've been saying, next year it's not guaranteed you're gonna be back here. You know what I'm saying? It's not guaranteed that you're gonna win the division. Listen, now you done hunted. You know what I mean? Now it's easy to go after the team that's already like above you, right? Like Dan Campbell said, we knew that Minnesota would put up a fight because they are the defending defending NFC North champions from last year, right? So now everything's different now. The bullseye's on the Lions back now. Team's gonna play their best game against Detroit, to try to knock them off and just try to get some clout by beating the Lions now. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff comes into play. And I think that, listen, the Cowboys would be damn sure happy to beat the Lions. Put it that way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like they looking at us like it's just they expect to win. I mean, of course they expect to win, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, I don't think that they think that we are doormat team. You know what I'm saying? That they just gonna walk all over us. I think that they like hell. It's gonna be a dogfight. You know what I'm saying? I believe that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I think also. I think we living in a completely different era of sports right now, especially in football. Tradition is dead. And if people don't believe tradition is dead, look at college football right now. You got a lot of people belly aching over the new conferences and, well, what about my home alma mater school against this school and this and that? It's all about the money now. And I think we're looking at a completely different generation of football fans. It could be very easy for the Detroit Lions to become one of the darlings of the NFL over the next 10 to 15, 20 years, simply because I think our generation of fans and the generation of fans prior to us are the ones that still hung up on the Lions' old history, Pittsburgh Steelers, Dallas Cowboys, Green Bay Packers. That's our generation. And that's the generation before us. This generation of fans, man, I was talking to a young man earlier today at work, 16 years old. Dude is a huge Houston Texans fan. You know why? Because he's a huge CJ Stroud fan. I think this era of football fans right now, they're not as caught up in tradition as we are. They don't give a damn about, oh, well, the Lions were terrible back in 1993. Most of these kids weren't even alive in 1993. So now you're looking at a situation where, granted, we grew up on Pittsburgh Steelers and San Francisco 49ers of the early 90s and Cowboys this and Packers that. A lot in Pittsburgh Steelers, a lot of that tradition is dead. And like I said, this generation of football fans, they're building their own favorite teams that they really love and they really like to follow. So you're looking at teams like the Detroit Lions. We expect to be really good consistently over the next few years. Jacksonville Jaguars, who have never been to a Super Bowl, they're trending up. Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, maybe once they get their young star quarterback back next season. We're looking at a situation where the Patriots dynasty is already dead. So now I think we're witnessing the complete unraveling of a lot of this tradition in the NFL. And this generation of football fans, they're building their own tradition, not based off of the favorite teams we had growing up. It's a situation now where if you're from our generation and you're a diehard Steeler fan, Packer fan, Cowboy fan, teams like that, it's going to be hard to really keep that same excitement alive, especially in the media, unless your team is winning. If those franchises ain't winning shit, it's going to be hard if you're part of that fan base to just really keep people going, because this era of football fans don't know the Pittsburgh Steelers for winning. This era of football fans really don't know the Green Bay Packers for winning. This era of football fans honestly don't even know the Dallas Cowboys for winning. They can go back and look in history books. Oh, this team was good 8 years ago or 20 years ago, this and that. But this era of football fans, they're not caught up in that. They too busy building their own bases as far as teams they like and care about. And then a lot of these fans nowadays, they don't follow the team. They follow the players. So they follow wherever their favorite players are going to.
Fantasy football too.
That too. So like I said, man, our Detroit Lions could make a huge turnaround. We could go from being laughing stocks to the NFL from our generation and prior generation to being maybe the darlings of the NFL for the current generation and the new generation of football fans moving forward. So I just thought I'd throw that out there, man, because someone asked me about that on social media earlier about could the Lions become one of the favorites of the NFL? I honestly think the Lions. I honestly believe the NFL wants the Lions, not to say that they fixing games, whatever. I think the NFL wants the Lions to be very successful.
Because
it's a great story.
Yeah.
It'd be a great story, and it also sells hope for some of these other franchises that can't seem to really get over the hump. Look at Cleveland. This era of football fans don't know the Browns for being terrible. They don't know nothing about the Kelly Holcomb Cleveland Browns or the Tim Couch Cleveland Browns. Right, the Deshaun Kaiser Cleveland Browns that went 0-16. We know about it.
Right.
But currently, Browns fans, that's a generation under us, so it's I think the NFL wants parity now, especially with the Patriots being out of the way. You want
Man,
Cleveland to be good. You want the Lions to be good. You want the Raiders to be good. The NFL is better when the Raiders are also good. So
yeah. Yeah. But so okay. Like we put a bow on this show tonight. We talked about, the game, we talked about Minnesota. And let's be honest, Minnesota's still fighting for the play. They're in the playoffs right now. I mean, at least if they win, I think they're in better shape than Green Bay. I think I don't have it in front of me, but I think the Vikings in better shape than Green Bay. You know what I'm saying, to make the play. What I was saying was, it may be a situation where, they may have to really win that last game. Again, they come here to Ford Field.
And we get to knock them out.
And we get knock them out, or
stump on them.
Or if we beat Dallas, right? What if we just say, you know what, we gonna rest Jerick off, we gonna rest Jameer Gibbs, some key players, St. Brown might not play, that type of thing. You may be wanting to do it if you got the 2 seed locked up. Then it may not be a situation where you want to, you might want to give them an extra week off, because we are, like you said, going to have to play that wild card weekend regardless. If you don't get the number 1 seed, you're going to have to play the first weekend. So I do think, it's good. This kind of game against the Cowboys coming up is late in the year. A game against Minnesota, playoff atmosphere. It's almost like teams, we've seen it, like teams in the NCAA tournament, basketball, teams that in baseball, you see a lot, and even hockey too. You see teams that get in that may be a 7th or 8th seed, and they start to be in playoff mode before the playoffs even start, because they're fighting for their playoff lives, right? So I think it's a good thing when you're playing meaningful games at the end, because I think you already know it's hard, man. Just say you get the division locked up early, and then, man, you got to play. Sometimes it's hard to turn that switch on like that. You know what I'm saying? To say, you know what? We just gonna turn it on and win. Sometimes in football, it ain't like that, man. A couple bad drives to start a game and you down 14, 10 nothing, or 14, you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Because then you fight an uphill battle. So I like that Dan Campbell. This is the last thing I'm gonna say, about this game, but I like that he said what he said. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, it is good, enjoy it. We're gonna let he brought Taylor Decker out, in the locker room. He pointed out Decker, Ragnow, Will Harris, Tracy Walker, Jalen Reeves-Maven, the guys that was here, in the dark times. And, he did acknowledge them. And I thought that was a good touch. And it shows, like, him being a former player, he knows how important that is. You know what I'm saying? To play and he was here when we were 0-16. So he knows, to get your teeth kicked in, week out, not having no hope, nothing to play for really, because you're a losing franchise. I mean, that's huge, man. You know what I'm saying? Now it's almost like we see coaches and they preach a good game and they say, oh, we're gonna do this, or we're gonna play my way and we're gonna win, and it never materialized to nothing. You know what I'm saying? Ever. You know what I'm saying? But this time the players see, like, hey, Dan said from the start, hey, we was going, if we play our way, good things will happen. Now they see the result of what he's been saying, and I think now that gives you a little bit in the locker room. Now you got guys that may be on his side a little bit that was kind of shaky, say, you know what, this guy's a clown, I don't believe nothing he's saying, blah, blah, blah. Nothing's working. The plan don't work. The scheme don't work. The philosophy.
Talking about kneecaps.
Yeah. Now I think they like, damn, it worked. You know what I'm saying?
I will say this though, man. Don't count out Tracy Walker.
I ain't. Nah.
Tracy had to wait around after the injury. Tracy had to wait around to get his turn. Something tells me that even if he's not the starter from here on out, there's going to possibly be a point in time come playoff time where he's going to make a big play.
Yep, gonna need him. Yep, gonna need him. And I think
possibly Will Harris.
Will Harris. Yeah, him. And
what if we got to the Super Bowl and Will Harris sealed it with a pick six? Or
man, man, dude, that would be like prolific.
They
Like
done made Will Harris the highest paid swing man in the NFL,
swing
boy.
man got Justin Coleman money. You know what I mean? Just to be. But yeah. I mean, Walt, just think about it. I mean, think about the possibilities to have two home playoff game. I'm thinking about that now because I'm like, man, if you tell
Yeah,
me we play the Rams and then we turn around and I don't know, I'm just making something up. Let's just say we play the Cowboys again, or we play the Eagles, and then we got to play them here at home as opposed to going on the road. I think that's huge, man, especially for our quarterback. He needs, the scenery to be right. So, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I mean, if we had to put a ball on this show, I think that, Lions fans, we can enjoy this win. You know what I'm saying? I think it's well, a long time coming. We've been wanting anything to cheer about. And right now, it's hard to know what to do next. You know what I'm saying? Now Lions fans like, what do we do now? You know what I'm saying? Okay, now we've been complaining and belly aching about our team not being good for decades, right? So now we got a decent team. So now what do we do? Oh, we come back and we expect to win the next game. You know what I'm saying? That's how it
right.
goes in the NFL. You expect to win the next game. And then Dan Campbell's been saying the same thing. So I like that about him. That's why I don't see. Um, I don't think it's going to be a situation at all where. Oh, I hope I don't eat these words. I just don't see us in any scenario just like faltering, like what I'm saying, where we like, damn,
Laying an
did
egg.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they could lose, but not like 45-10. You know what I'm saying? Not 35-3. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it, man. I can see, especially with a good start with a home playoff game. I think that'll work wonders for our team's confidence if we have to go on the road after that. Kansas City won a couple Super Bowls. Chances are Chiefs gonna have to go on the road, right? In the playoff. I don't
First
think
time ever for
first
Mahomes.
time ever. You know what I'm saying? Mahomes been in the confines of his home field, for the last couple of years. So it's going to be interesting to see how he responds and have to go to Baltimore and play the Ravens on the road. So
Or
Jared
at
Goff,
Cleveland.
yeah, Cleveland. So Jared Goff is like it could be a magical run, man. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, it just we'll get into the playoffs later. I see Javier commented. Yeah, I can't wait. I think Saturday is going to be a big deal. I just we respect y'all, but we got to come to Big D and beat y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's got to be. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the Ram. Just what A-Dub said. The Ram thing. I'm telling y'all, that's going to be Rating City right there. Like this
Oh yeah.
Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? Night before, New Year's Eve is a perfect. The NFL did it right, man. And then this game is probably the best game they could have had. They probably didn't foresee this happening like when they made the schedule, but it's the best case scenario for the NFL to have the Lions and Cowboys. You know what I'm saying, on Saturday night. I mean, it's gonna be good. Things is a game where it's something at stake. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like, usually in the past it would be the Cowboys would be really good and the Lions would stink and then they would just drop a bomb on them. You know what I'm saying? And just watch a 30-10 game. It's like that. Why did y'all even have that on TV? But now I think that Dallas desperate. They gotta have this game. You know what I'm saying? And then the Lions got something to play for. So I think it's gonna be it's gonna be like damn near like a playoff game. So I think that's good. You know what I'm saying? For the Lions to go in there and have to win. So
Yeah. I mean, as I mentioned about 20 minutes ago, 15, 20 minutes ago, Dallas has won 5 straight against us, and we haven't won in Dallas since 2011. So
damn,
I
it's
feel
been
that
that
was
long.
yeah, we
Damn.
haven't won at Dallas since 2011, and they
Whew.
won 5 straight. So we exercised some demons this season. Hopefully we can exercise some more demons this Saturday at Dallas and get them boys about the way and
Mm,
potentially lock up the #1 seed week 18
mm,
against Minnesota. I would prefer for us to have that bye and get fully healthy. I know a lot of fans, not only Lion fans, but a lot of football fans across the nation, they would almost prefer for their team to not have the bye because, as you mentioned, a lot of times you want to be hot, you want to be playing your best football late in the
mm,
season. heading into the playoffs. And I think a lot of fans look at that week one bye, that first round bye as a jinx. I don't, especially for a team like us that needs to get back some defensive players, mainly James Houston and Chauncey Gardner. But we'll be breaking down this Dallas game with a few more people later on in the week. And until then, one pride.